Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. You are watching MFSN The Hub's Waiver Wire Baseball Show. Same time every week, 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. I am Dr. Dan Ratner, and I am here, as always, with Ross the Boss.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I'm going to talk baseball fantasy waiver wire with you, cowboy.
All right, now the first thing we need to discuss is Casey's obvious injury. He suffered a punctured larynx. I'm just kidding.
What's that?
Your larynx is your vocal cords. I decided to make up an injury because he's been out for so long.
Talking about injuries really quick before we start with our first position catchers. I mean, there have been so many injuries in Major League Baseball, even the NBA too now, which is like unbelievable. But let's start with the Major League Baseball. I mean, let's just bring up the most current injuries.
Well, Tyler Glasnow is probably the biggest one. And this is really interesting. He blamed it on the fact that they changed the rules. They were going to clamp down on these sticky substances, and he was like, listen, it seemed to me that I don't know that he was admitting to it.
He did deny it. He didn't say like, oh, I don't do that. He was like, it sounded to me like he was like admitting he does. That's me. I don't know if it's true.
No, I agree. He seemed to be admitting that everybody does. And he was like, you're changing the way we pitch like mid-season. And Trevor Bauer had a lot to say about it on Twitter as well.
I saw that, and he also said some stuff about Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame, too. I read all that.
Yep.
It's interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about the umpires coming out to the mound and giving surprise inspections during the game, it's no longer a surprise if they all know they're coming out. I mean, come on.
I remember when I was a kid being fascinated by umpires going out to the mound and like finding a nail file out there.
Remember that, Phil Negro? That was the best. Or Joe Negro, his brother.
Yeah, it was Joe Negro, right.
Joe Negro, that was the best. It comes flying out, and like the umpire's just like this. And he's like, he looks down, and he just like picks it up, and what's this? And throws him out.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah.
So listen, I mean, Tyler Glasnow is the main one, but there's injuries are happening all over the place at just a record pace. And
that's why you watch our show. That's why the waiver wire is so important to watch and to facilitate what you're going to do right now with your team. Because you have to have injuries, because I have injuries. Dr. Dan has injuries. Casey Scheinfeld has injuries. They all have injuries.
Let me mention two more, actually. Shane Bieber, he's hopefully not out for as long, but who knows? Carlos Carrasco,
Cy Young winner, yeah, he's gone. And also my man Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals. He's on the IL too, I just read. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's just popping up all over the place. Mike Trout, it's taking longer to get back.
He's coming back July after All-Star break.
Yeah, but it sounds like it could be extended. Luis Severino suffered a setback.
Oh, he got another injury. I saw that. You're right. Yep. And Cody Bellinger, he's played like he's on the IL again. So it doesn't stop.
Okay, so listen. If you've suffered a major injury to one of your starting pitchers and you want a good backup catcher, we're here to tell you who to pick up.
There you go.
Okay. So we're Yahoo, 60% and under, as usual. We're going to go with catchers. Let's jump in. Ross, who do you have? Who's your
I mentioned him last week. He wasn't my top catcher last week, but he's my top catcher this week. In the past 2 weeks, he's been hitting over 400 right now. In the past 2 weeks, 4 home runs in the past 2 weeks. And he plays for your Los Angeles Angels. It's Max Stasey. I like this guy a lot. I feel that it's a good time to pick him up. He's a streamer. I really think he's a streaker. Excuse me.
Yeah, thank you.
He's a streaker.
Use the right terminology.
I'm sorry. He's a streaker. I don't know if he can keep up the 400 over 400 in the past 2 weeks batting average. But if you need a hitting catcher that has power, Max is your man.
All right. I do know if he can keep that up. He cannot. Okay. Now, I'm sticking with Omar Narvaez.
He's my second choice. Omar's past 2 weeks hitting 387, 2 home runs. Not bad.
But I'll tell you, Carson Kelly has gone down below 60%. I think you scoop him up if he's still there. He's a former top prospect. He used to be with the Cardinals, now with Arizona. I think he's a good pickup as well.
He's not. He's been hitting. He's been in and out of the lineup. I think he's been hurt, but he's still a good pickup.
It's amazing to me that Mike Zunino is still a decent pickup with 12 homers and a 191 batting average.
And somebody else that's picking it up, I think he's over 60%, but people gave up on him is Gary Sanchez of the Yankees. He's starting to hit for average again, and he's actually looking pretty good.
Yep, if you can pounce on him. I mean, look,
to
get an upside play at catcher is just not easy to do. So I think all the way. All right, let's go to first base. Ross, Who do you got as your top pickup, 60% and under?
So top pickup, 5 home runs. He's hitting 256 the past 2 weeks. He has 9 RBIs. It's Jock Peterson, the Chicago Cubs. He's been playing a lot, like 90% of the games the past 2 weeks he's been playing. And he's been hitting pretty good. And if you need power, Jock Peterson, 5 home runs in 2 weeks, it's not bad.
Listen, and Jock Peterson's always going to hit those. Pick him up, play him against righties, and find somebody to play the rest of the time. It's kind of a no-brainer to me to play Jock Peterson against righties, especially at this point in the year with all the injuries. Definitely. I'm still on the Pavin Smith train, though. I know he hasn't been hitting as well lately, and he's not putting up a ton of production, but he's solid, and he's got great plate discipline, so I think his numbers could go way up. Ryan Mountcastle is at 62%, so I can't really
Doesn't count. Him. Sorry, sir. You cannot mention his name on this show right now.
But look, Dominic Smith has sunk to 57%. Is he worth a pickup?
You know what? I dumped him. I had him in a couple leagues. I got rid of him. And I don't know. I hope he does. He's a Santa Monica kid. We're trying to get him on our show. We're working on it. I wish him well, but right now there's better players to pick up.
Yep. Now, I will say that there's hitters that are starting to hit like Josh Bell. Is he worth a pickup? I still say no. I'm not.
I'm not a Josh Bell. I had one good year. Not a big Josh Bell guy.
I never was, but for free, maybe.
I mean, somebody else I like. He looks like a bouncer from the Jersey Shore. It looks like somebody that would start on my softball team. That's what he looks like. And this guy's huge. I mean, he's like a monster. He looks like a house. Daniel Fogelback. I mean, he's unbelievable. But he's hitting like 250, but he's starting to hit home runs. I mean, he's on a tear like the past 2 weeks. I think he has like 4 or 5 home runs. He's just destroying the ball. I saw him today score from second base on a base hit. He was huffing and puffing, but he scored. But the Reds still won. But Daniel Fogelback is somebody that it's just fun to watch him bat. The bat looks like a toothpick. I mean, this guy is just a tank. 270. It's not all muscle, Dan, but it's a lot of table muscle, but I still love him. And you know what? If you need somebody if you need some power on your team, he's the guy you want to pick up. He's going to be streaming for a little bit.
I never thought I would mention this player as a streaker because I've been kind of on the Ian Happ train with this guy. Okay. Miguel Sano. Sano.
We always make fun of Miguel. He strikes out a lot.
But he has 10 homers and 24 RBIs in a month. That's
not bad. Not bad. It's just with him, his batting average drives me crazy. There's
terrible.
Better players. You know who else is playing? I mentioned his name last week. This guy's a future Hall of Famer. In the past 2 weeks, we kind of laughed at the Dodgers when he signed him. You and I were laughing. You were saying, oh, they just signed him because it's a sentimental thing. He lives in California. They want to sign him just to have him on the team as a leadership guy. He's a leadership guy, but he's batting 346 with 2 home runs the past 2 weeks. I said it, 346 the past 2 weeks. And he's going to be playing every day almost because Cody Bellinger's hurt again. So Albert Pujols, if you need somebody on your team that's going to be hitting like a maniac like he's been doing, pick up Albert Pujols right now. He's a streamer, but I wish him well, and I hope he keeps going. It's fun. He must be, between you and I, do you think he's like closer to 50 than 40?
I think it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I saw the movie Cocoon, and I think I remember he was in it. But
just saying, I'm pretty sure he lied about his age when he looked a lot older when his rookie year.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's really break this down. Did Albert Pujols lie about his age? He probably did, but on top of lying about his age, he probably doesn't even know his age.
No,
that's something you got to factor in. I'm really
but
not
I mean,
sure
in all seriousness, 346 the past 2 weeks, a couple home runs. He's not going to steal you any bases. I mean, I think I can run faster running backwards than he runs forwards. I mean, he's not mobile at all.
And that's
but I believe that it's not a bad pickup. I mean, a lot of first basemen. I'll mention some games. Goldschmidt's not hitting at all. If you need I'd rather have Pujols than Goldschmidt right now. How about you?
Look, rest of the season, I'd probably stick with
not the rest of the season for the next 10 days.
Oh, next 10 days. Okay, maybe, yeah. And head-to-head, if you could pick up Albert Pujols and play him. Listen, I also think it's a joy to play Albert Pujols when he's playing well. I mean, it's like it harkens back to the old days. But Jonathan Shoop or Scoop. I don't know how you say it.
I have him at second base. I know he's
I have him at second base
first,
too. So I
but
wanted
we can mention him right now if you want. He's had another home run last night. I mean, this guy is on an unbelievable tear. I mean, he's just killing the ball. Past 2 weeks, 326, 4 home runs. He's somebody that you should pick up immediately and start. I mean, don't bench him. Pick him up and start him. I mean, he's guys in a major. He had 2 hits today. I mean, pick him up.
Yeah, actually, I mean, we're going to use that to just segue right into second base.
Hold on, one more player. I'm going to mention Joey Votto. Okay. Joey Votto for the Cincinnati Reds. He's back. He's back playing every day. He had in the past 2 weeks, he's hitting 250, but he has 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. That's really good in this league. And when he's at home, you got to start him. So when he's hitting in Cincinnati, you start Votto because he's hitting like 400 at home. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Okay, a little bit of an Ian Happ update. In the last 2 weeks, batting 156.
Ah!
Aha!
Ah!
Part of the I told you so.
Did it again.
Okay, I'm going to bring up Dylan Moore again. I know I talked about him a lot last week.
Okay, so we're at second base right now. We're at second base, correct?
Second base.
Okay.
Second base. And that's where I would play Dylan Moore. You know, you can play him in other
positions. Is Dylan Moore batting his weight over or under on his weight? What's he hitting?
You mean for the season?
Yeah, season. I'm not saying like for today.
I believe it is under his weight.
Okay.
But he's 500 pounds. No, I'm kidding. Batting 400. No, listen, Dylan Moore is all about is the speed upside play, but he's got power also, and he's eligible at second base, third base, shortstop, and outfield. I'm telling you, you got to scoop this guy up.
I'll be scooping him up in our league today.
Okay, another guy I want to mention at second base, Jonathan India. We've talked about him a lot.
Another Cincinnati Red. I love it. Keep going. Tell me why.
He's hitting really well. In the last 2 weeks, he has 14 hits. He's batting 311, 10 runs scored, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, and he even chipped in a stolen base.
I have him hitting 341 the past 2 weeks with 2 home runs and a stolen base.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going by Yahoo's numbers. Do you have some kind of special numbers? I don't know.
I don't know. I figured it, my team figured it out, and they gave me these stats. I don't know what's going on here, but again, he's hitting over 300 the past 2 weeks. It's still really good. Don't worry. Pick him up. Jonathan India, he was my rookie of the year to start the season. He started out hot, then he got cold. Now he's starting hitting again. I love his hair. It's he has a total like party in the back, short in the front. I love the whole look. He has that Joe Dirt look, looking great.
Yep.
Jonathan India, I like him a lot, especially in that Cincinnati lineup.
I have one other guy to mention
other
than Jonathan Shoop. You want to go first?
I like this guy. He plays for the Colorado Rockies. You know how much you love Colorado Rockies, especially when they play in Coors Field. It's unbelievable. This guy is 24 years old. His name's Brandon Rogers. He plays second base. I believe he can play third base. The past 2 weeks, he's hitting 333, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Not bad for a second baseman, hitting really well. He's a young guy, and I think he'll keep that second base position for a while. So if you want to pick up Brandon Rogers and just when he's at home, just start him. Every time he's in Colorado, you just start him. Don't even think about it. It's an easy one.
I think it's not a bad call, but I heard from his parents, and they named him Brendan. Just be careful.
Oh, it's Brendan. Okay, I got it.
All right. Now, Jonathan Villar is one of my pickups.
You love Jonathan Villar, and you have a love-hate relationship. You bring him up a lot. Every time I see him,
hate in my relationship.
It's not really a hate, but he doesn't really. I don't know. I just feel like he's good for like 2 categories.
No, it's true. I have a love-hate relationship with Jonathan Villar. I love him.
You don't have him on any of your teams.
I have had him on both of my teams.
You've had,
but that's saying something
right now.
No. But still, it's saying something if you thought to pick somebody up. And in fact, in the middle of this, we're going to have a little discussion about players we have never owned, like never, because you're just like, I'm not even gonna honor that with a pickup. Jonathan Villar I've owned many times. I even had him as a keeper. I mean,
fine. I'm just saying right now, you bring this guy up almost every week. I'm just tired of his name. I want to keep him on the do not bring up list. I nominate Jonathan Villar is my first one.
All right, then we're going to say one last thing about him, and then you'll never hear about it again. I do have a love-hate relationship with Jonathan Villar. I love him. You hate him.
I don't hate him. I just think he's kind of useless in fantasy, but that's my own opinion.
Oh, my God. He's won people titles with those steals. Okay. Let's go to third base, Ross. I'm going to let you go first. As usual,
third base this week was the most like one position that I didn't really find much talent to pick up. The only guy that I liked but didn't love is Miguel Andujar for the Yankees. He can play different positions. He's hitting 314 with 3 home runs the past 2 weeks. He's a streamer. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, he was in 2018. He was like unbelievable. He was like over 20 home runs. He hit 300. Then he got hurt. He's been hurt for 2 years straight. But now he's back and he's playing pretty well for the Yankees in the past 2 weeks. It's not a bad pickup. Especially if your third basemen are not hitting what they should be hitting. Chapman for the Oakland and Donaldson for Minnesota. Those guys are really not hitting the ball that great. So you may want to pick Andujar up and start him.
I think it's a great pickup. And in fact, when I look at the list of third basemen, let's say over the last 2 weeks, it's pretty pathetic.
It is. Who do you like?
India. Well, look, Jonathan India qualifies there too. So maybe you pick him up. Dylan Moore qualifies there, so maybe you pick him up. If you're looking for batting average, you could pick up David Fletcher, but I have never owned
we call him. What are you doing? We call him Fletch, and Fletch has been hitting 341 the past 2 weeks. You're 100% right. 0 home runs. Not that great in RBIs, but for batting average, you need somebody to pick up your average. Fletch is your guy.
Yeah, listen, if you lost Nick Madrigal, then the player to replace him with is Fletch. And I don't really want to own either, but that's just I need a guy who hits some homers. I would take a chance on Ty France. You know, he's not doing that great in the last 14 days, but he's got some good playing ability. One player I would not take a chance on, Hunter Dozier. He's batting 156 in the last 2 weeks. All right, I had to get it in there.
I'm surprised he's still. I mean, in all seriousness, with Hunter Dozier, I'm surprised he still plays. I'm surprised he's still in the major league level on the way he's batting this year. They should really set him down and work on his swing and bring him back up maybe in like a month.
Yeah. I'm going to mention one guy, though, who's getting some at-bats and putting up some power numbers, which is Christian Arroyo. I don't know what to think of this guy. This is not Bronson.
Boston Red Sox. I don't either. He went on the past 2 weeks. He's been on a tear. I don't know what he's hitting, but
so is Yandy Diaz, by the way.
Yandy Diaz for the of Tampa Bay. He's been hitting over 300 the past 2 weeks. I mean, these are good players, but I just don't know if they're consistent enough to pick up.
No, listen, I would say more in a head-to-head league. It's more in a head-to-head league if you're looking for a hot bat and you need something at that position.
Okay, fine.
In a roto league, rotisserie, I wouldn't be bothering with these guys so much. Jonathan India would be my pickup if you needed a third baseman.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go to shortstop now. 60% and under. And I've been banging the drum for Wander Franco, as we know.
Yeah, he's not coming up. Okay. I'm waiting by the phone, waiting to get the phone call when he gets brought up. I don't know when it's going to happen. I mean, the guy who is playing shortstop now for Tampa Bay, Walls, he's playing great. I mean, he's been killing the ball.
Yep.
So I don't know what they're going to do with Wander Franco. I don't know if they trade Walls. I don't know. It's interesting what Tampa Bay is going to do the next couple weeks with they're so loaded.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think second base or shortstop is better for pickups this week?
I like shortstop this week, and I'll tell you why. My first shortstop this week is J.P. Crawford. The past 2 weeks, he's hitting 392. He has 2 home runs. He's from Southern California. He's unbelievable. Another guy that wants to come on our show. He plays for your Seattle Mariners. I mean, JP's highly touted as a prospect. Unbelievable. He was like, I think, first or second round pick.
Yep.
And people love this kid. I remember when they loved this guy. I mean, he was like the next big thing. And then he got hurt. Now he's playing up to potential, but he's hitting 392 the past 2 weeks. So if you have a shortstop that's not really hitting right now, J.P. Crawford's the guy you should pick up immediately.
I totally agree. And this is just a point to make in general, that these prospects, they lose their shine so fast. They're the same guys they always were. So I've always kept J.P. Crawford kind of in mind. When he was with the Phillies coming up, he was very much a high prospect. He can come around. You know, Ahmed Rosario is another one of these guys.
Ahmed Rosario, you know, I love your Cleveland Indians. That Ahmed can play multiple positions. He plays outfield, center field. He plays shortstop. The past 2 weeks, he's been hitting 395 with 2 stolen bases. I mean, he's been a great pickup.
And 10 runs. 10 runs.
And 10 runs. So Ahmed is unbelievable. Another guy that I would like to pick up. I don't know who would have Ahmed. If I had a choice of Ahmed or JP, who do you pick up?
Well, that's tough. I'm going to go with Ahmed, but I think it's partly because of my homer attitude.
Yeah, I think so too. I would probably go with JP just because I feel he's going to just get better and better throughout the season. But we'll see what happens with the Mets. I mean, both of them are good pickups, and there are some shortstops that are not playing up to potential right now. I'm not going to mention any names, Lindor, but, you may want to sit maybe a couple guys that you got to keep on your bench and bring up these guys that haven't played right now. I don't know.
Lindor has been a lot better lately.
Okay, fine. I just got to give you a bad time because you have him on your team.
Yeah, it's also a question of whether maybe Brendan Rodgers is the pick up there. We talked about him in second base, but he's shortstop eligible.
He's shortstop too. I like Brendan a lot. All three of these guys are good pickups.
Do you like Miguel Rojas coming back soon? It looks like he'll be back soon.
I loved him before he got hurt. I got to see when he comes back. I don't know.
I think you take a chance on him. If you're looking for a shortstop and you need somebody to take a chance on, I think that's the way to go.
But shortstop for me this week was there's a lot to choose from for shortstop this week.
Any other ones that we haven't mentioned?
Somebody else he's not going to hit you home runs. He'll get you stolen bases. He's hitting for average. He's hitting over 364 right now the past 2 weeks. He has 2 stolen bases. It's Miles Straw for Houston. Miles Straw, he's not a power guy. I don't know, Russ, he doesn't hit any home runs. He's your stolen base guy. He's your average guy right now. He's hitting the ball. He's killing the ball for Houston. Houston's scoring a lot of runs. He's scoring runs also. So Miles Straw for me, if you need like somebody to boost your average up or score runs or get some stolen bases, he's a good pickup for you.
I don't disagree. I love how you got into some kind of fake fight with the audience as if they were arguing with you. Speaking of the audience, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and Ross or I will get back to you. And if Casey's larynx heals, he'll get back to you. Actually, he should be able to type anyway. Doesn't matter what happened to his vocal cords. Okay, let's talk briefly, Ross. I was fascinated by this idea when it came up earlier. Players, who's the most surprising player that you could find that you've never owned? Not even once. And listen, rookies.
He's probably the American League MVP also. I never had him on my team. I never drafted him. I never really liked him until this year. And it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Okay.
And I never had him ever on any of my fantasy teams. You're talking about a lot of teams. I never drafted him. I never picked him up. I never respected him as a hitter until this season. And I apologize to you, Vladimir, because you are the real deal this year.
All right. Listen, but let's talk about players that, are more available than.
I want to talk more available players. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's a player that I'm trying to think if I've ever owned him or not. Jorge Polanco of the Minnesota Twins, second base, shortstop. He's having a decent year.
I had him last year for a while. He was sitting like 300 last year.
You know what? I'm pretty sure I have owned him before.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to win any leagues. He's a good, again, it's to fill a gap that somebody's hurt. He's fine.
It's amazing though. I look at this list. Miles Straw. I've not only owned him, I've owned him multiple times.
There's been a lot. I mean, I can go team by. I mean, I have my favorite teams like Cincinnati. I like Oakland. I like the Angels. I hate the Dodgers. But I mean, like I never owned, let's say, Justin Turner. I never owned Cody Bellinger, just because I'm not a big Dodger fan, and I don't want them on my team. There you go.
I get it. All right. Then there's players like Jurickson Profar, who I have added probably 15 times. I'm just constantly picking Jurickson Profar up and then dropping him. I mean,
there's people like, I would say, like Gavin Lux for the Dodgers. I picked him up, dropped him, picked him up, dropped him, picked him up, dropped him. I mean, there's been a lot of players this season, especially AJ Pollock, and a lot of guys I've been picking up and dropping throughout the season, just depending my needs and what I need.
But I want to find. We'll get back to the viewers on this. I want to find a player that's been around for more than 10 years that you have never owned. We're going to do some research on this. We'll get back to you guys on this. Okay, listen, we got to move to outfield. In the outfield, who do you have 60% and under? You know the rules, Ross. I'm going to let you start because Casey is perpetually injured.
I have a bunch of players. I'll name the player that's getting a lot of heat right now. People are talking about him. He's starting to hit. He's a leadoff hitter for your Los Angeles Angels. It's Justin Upton. Past 2 weeks, he's hitting 326, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. He's been on fire. I mean, I wish I had something bad to say about him, but he's been getting on base. He's been scoring. He's been everything you want of a leadoff hitter. He's your guy. So if you need an outfielder to do everything on all categories, Justin Upton's your guy.
Yep. I think it's a very solid
top pickup in the outfield this week.
As I look at it, I'm thinking, I think you're close to right, but I might go with Avisail Garcia.
Okay.
The guy's putting up very similar numbers to Upton. They're actually a little bit better, and he steals bases. And listen, this is one of those things in fantasy baseball where that if you've owned a guy and he's burned you a couple times, you're less likely to pick him up. This is what's happening with Justin Upton here. I will freely admit that is what is going on here. I would rather go with the fresh guy who I haven't been burned by as much. In terms of pure talent, Upton is way up there in pure talent, but I just don't trust him. I don't know. He seems like an uninspiring pickup to me. There's a guy I would rather have, but he's over 60% owned, so I can't mention him.
Who is it?
Well, I'll mention him, I suppose. Raimel Tapia, 63% owned.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Tapia plays for your Colorado Rockies.
And he's batting
somebody that steals bases. I love his hair.
Runs.
I want to grow my hair like him. He has unbelievable hair. I want next time I go to the barber, I'm going to say, give me the Tapia cut because it's that cool. So Tapia is over 60%, so I don't want to talk to him for that long, but he's somebody that steals you a lot of bases and gets on base in Colorado.
Yep. And listen, Miguel Andujar is also available in the outfield. If you need an outfielder, I'd plug him in. I like Jock Peterson a lot at this stage of the season. This is the stage of the season where it's Jock Peterson time. He's going to hit you lots of home runs from the right side. His batting average is terrible, but the whole league's batting average is terrible. Grab him. Whoa, I just noticed something.
Whoa, woo-wah, wee-wah, what is it?
I don't even know if I've heard of this guy. Do you know who Jake Fraley is?
I have Jack Fraley on my list right here. I honestly do. He plays for your Seattle Mariners. I like Jack. I have him in our one league. I'm starting him if you pay attention.
Who is this dude?
Jack Fraley is unbelievable. He's a 28-year-old kid. He's hitting, I know for the season he's hitting 241, but the past 69 at bats, he's hitting 316. He's been destroying the ball the past couple weeks.
In the last 2 weeks, do you know what his numbers are? He's batting 316. He has 10 runs scored, 4 homers, 15 RBIs, and 3 steals.
Yeah. So I picked him up a few days ago because I'm Ross the Boss and I know what I'm doing. He's a streamer. I don't know how long he'll keep it up, but I picked him up just to ride that wave, the Freely wave.
Now listen, that's in our head-to-head league. That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. You follow Ross the Boss and you'll be a winner.
There you go. All right. Anybody else in the outfield?
Yes. I have a theory. Now, I'm going to give you some information. You can do what you want with it. You can go to Vegas. You can do anything you want. You've won a lot of money for in the past with me. So Marte, the outfielder for the Marlins, is going to be traded. The White Sox want him. They want Kopech. White Sox aren't giving him Kopech. They offered a few other losers. I don't know if the trade's going to happen, but they're looking to trade Marte. The Marlins. They want to clean house a little bit. They want to bring some young prospects in. They're thinking about the future. So this guy they brought up Tuesday, Jesus Sanchez. He's not Jewish. Jesus Sanchez. He's not Jewish.
Shocking.
He's not Jewish. But Jesus, they brought him up in the minors. He was hitting 349, 9 home runs, and 129 at bats. It's not bad. That's like Ross the Boss numbers. Those are good numbers. He was brought up before last year. Didn't do that well. I don't think he was ready. He was 23 years old. He was scared. It was COVID. All this stuff was going on. He just, it was a short season. It just wasn't his time to come up. They should have kept him down. But Marty's going to be traded, I think, in the next couple of weeks. You heard it from me first, Ross the Boss. And they brought this Sanchez kid up because they want to start this kid every day. He's that good. And he's really good. And you should pick him up now in your dynasty leagues, in your keeper leagues. This guy's the real deal. I know Dan's picking up right now as we speak, like he did Hunter Green last week. But that all being said, this Sanchez guy is somebody you should pick up immediately because he'll be a future star in this league. And you heard it from me first, Ross the Boss.
All right, I'm gonna say one really, really fringe name in a way. It's not so much a fringe name, but Brandon Belt. If you're playing in an on-base percentage league, grab him.
Is he hurt or is he playing?
He's back. He's playing.
Okay,
he's playing
fine.
well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. I don't pay attention to the Giants at all.
Well, but Yeah, sometimes in fantasy you go to those teams. That's where you get your value. But I would pick him up in on base percentage leagues, especially. I might give him a look in other leagues. He's first base and outfield eligible, and baby giraffe they call him. The kid can hit. He usually can't stay healthy, and his batting average is not.
Well, I like Belt. I had him on my team briefly, and then he got hurt. I dropped his ass. But that all being said, Brandon Belt can play first base, can play outfield. It's a good diverse guy, and it's a good guy to have on your bench. I'm not complaining. Somebody else that I like that's available in 99% of the leagues. He plays for the New York Mets. His name's Billy McKinney. Billy McKinney's hitting 303 with 2 home runs, 8 RBIs the past 2 weeks. He's somebody that's a streamer, but he's getting on base a lot and scoring runs. So if you need an outfielder and you're a little low with the guys you're a little low with some power and you want some power on your team and you want somebody that's going to hit for average, Billy McKinney's your guy.
He also sounds like a character in a Tom Hanks.
It really does.
Movie.
I'm not disagreeing with you. But
all right, we're gonna go to starting pitching unless you have anybody else. Are you ready? Starting pitching?
I'm ready.
All right. Don't sound so despondent. This is a good thing. This is a good
thing. Hello, Mrs. Loopner. Remember, hi, Todd. Remember this SNL? Bill Murray, best.
All right. Who's your top pickup? Now, you talked about Austin Gomber and wanting to.
Oh, let's talk about Austin Gomber. You brought him up. Let's talk about him. He pitched a gem last time he pitched. 8 innings, no runs scored. His ERA is 3.54. And he plays for the Colorado Rockies. 76 innings pitched, 75 strikeouts. It's close to Dr. Dan's. He likes guys that have over the amount of Ks in innings. So he needs a little bit on Ks and he'll be on Dr. Dan's team. But Austin, this guy's getting a lot of press. People are talking about him. People are picking him up. And if I had to pick up one starting pitcher on Colorado, it'd be Austin.
Well, certainly on Colorado, but I think I'm always hesitant with Colorado pitchers.
I know you do. I know you mentioned last week you liked Bard for the closer for Colorado, and that'd be the only pitcher you would pick up on the team. But I'm hoping you have a change of heart here for Austin. He's been really working hard for you, Dr. Dan. I think he's worthy of a pickup to be on your team. What do you think?
I think he's made the cut to potentially be on my team for a couple weeks and then hurt my ERA, and then I'll cut him.
Okay. That's a deal. Austin, you're getting a big shot here. You better not screw up on Dr. Dan's team. This is big.
I trust Mike Minor a little bit more, honestly. Now, he's on Kansas City, so he's
a lot of strikeouts. He loves striking people out. He's good at that.
But you know what, Ross? You're still in some ways getting to know me as a fantasy baseball player.
As
much as I like strikeouts, whip is the thing that I'm always after.
Your wife told me about the whipping thing, all that stuff. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird you bring that up to me, but to me about Dan loves whip. I'm like, okay. I know you're a whip guy. I know you enjoy it. And you know what? Everybody has their own little thing. It's fine. I'm not judging you. But if whip is a category in your league, then yes. Minor's a good guy to have.
It's a fantasy baseball category. I do not like it in any other way. I want to be clear
right.
about that.
Okay. Just making sure. I didn't know. No. So, okay. Got it. But whip is not, it's not in every league. So you got to make sure that's in your league before we talk whip.
All right. Now here's a pitcher. It's 36% owned.
Yep.
I don't understand it at all. Logan Gilbert. This guy.
Okay. So I'll explain to you about Logan Gilbert if you want to hear Max. So he started the first 2 games. He got destroyed. They were hitting him like it was batting practice. He was an embarrassment. All this hype, number 1 prospect in the Seattle Mariners organization. The first 2 games, he couldn't get out of the second inning. He's calmed down a lot. He's not as nervous. He's pitching a lot better. But potential-wise, this guy is going to be good. I think he's a few weeks away from pick him up yet. I don't trust him quite yet, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay, I would say, listen, he may be a few weeks away from putting him in your starting lineup every game, but you got to pick him up now.
This
is the time.
I will.
This is the time. I did pick him up. So,
what?
Yeah,
okay.
I've got him
I'm
in
kidding. I'm kidding. I don't want him.
Yep. Listen, I think he is a great pickup.
No, he's highly talented. He's one of these guys that huge pedigree. Every level he pitched, he was a stud. You don't have to sell me on him.
All right, well, here's another guy I'm sure I won't have to sell you on, which is Hunter Green.
You son of oh my God, I'm going crazy. Why are you bringing that name up?
Okay, now listen. You know what? One of the reasons I'm bringing up Hunter Green is we saw an interview. So remember when we had Kenny Lofton on the show, and we saw an interview with him, Hunter Green, Joe Adell, and it was Trevor Bauer's show. When I watched that show, I was like, Hunter Green is going to be great. I could tell because of his mindset. And so I've had
you're just reminding the audience that you're a doctor of the mind, so you know what mindset means compared to the normal human being. So yes, it's coming from a great source.
Yeah, and listen, you've got a bunch of those were strong-willed guys in their minds. Kenny Lofton's one of the most strong-minded guys. Trevor Bauer is too. He eventually, like in high school, Trevor Bauer decided, I don't care what other people think, I'm going to be me. Hunter Green was like that too. Joe Adell, I kind of worried about that. He didn't.
I like Joe Adell too. He's a great prospect for the Los Angeles Angels.
I have him too, but I'm not sure he's got the mindset as much as
I'm not disagreeing. But Hunter Green, again, great pickup. As we discussed, he's in AAA right now in Louisville. He tore it up in Chattanooga, the AA affiliate for the Cincinnati Reds. He was the number one draft. He was the number one pick for the Reds like 3 years ago. Got hurt. Tommy John surgery. He's back. He throws over 104 miles an hour. He's unbelievable. The only question I have for him is his control, and I think he's fixing it. I love Hunter Green. I think he's a future all-star. Southern California kid. I saw him pitch in high school. You can't say anything more about him.
He's gonna be awesome. And if you're in a keeper, or
I hope you're right.
League, you probably already own him.
You know what? I'm a Reds fan, as you know, and I just every time I pick up a Red, and it's like bad luck. So I'm kind of staying away from him right now.
I get it. I do the same thing with the Indians.
I just get nervous, but I wish you luck on Hunter. And somebody else I like too is this guy. I don't think he's Jewish. Tell me if this is a Jewish name. Christian Javier. Is that Jewish?
You love when they've got the first name Christian or Jesus.
Jesus, exactly. So Christian is 59 innings. This is a Dr. Dan pickup. 59 innings, 71 Ks. 71! It's more than a strikeout an inning, Dr. Dan. In his ERA, 3.02. What's wrong with that? Pitches for Houston. I have nothing bad to say about this guy. His walks are low. I mean, it could be a good pickup. He's an inning burner. He's available in your league. Pick him up.
Well, here's the thing about Christian Javier. You got to be aware that he's kind of the long man in the pen, but at the moment. But he could easily move back into the starting rotation. And meanwhile, he's like Michael Kopech in a lot of ways in terms of the numbers he's going to put up. I think
he's been starting. He's been getting the starting nod the past couple weeks.
Has he?
Yeah, he's been doing okay.
He's been under 5 innings he got a 4-inning save his last pitch timeout.
But it doesn't matter when you pitch. You can start. You can come in relief. Doesn't matter.
And listen, on a team like the Astros, you can get wins in relief too. I think Christian Javier is a totally solid pickup. Michael Kopech is also a mid-range
I love him.
guy.
You know, the Marlins want him so bad for Marte. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yep. Well, they're going to have to pony up more, it sounds like. I don't know if it'll happen. But listen, with prospects like Michael Kopech, Kopech's more than a prospect now. He's a major leaguer. But even Hunter Green is good to pick up because as much as the Reds love him, if they get a deal they can't refuse.
They're not trading him. It's not going to happen. Nice try. Keep going. You're insane.
Listen.
The Reds organization would be in so much trouble if they were traded him.
Well, they'd have to get, like a top-of-the-line ace. Like if they could get
crazy
Jacob deGrom or something, which they won't do because the Mets are
they can't afford his salary. The other pitcher I liked is Wade Miley. Wade Miley's look at his past 4 or 5 starts. It's unbelievable. His ERA is 2.92. He has 6 wins for the year. He's been like, for me, Wade Miley's like the comeback pitcher of the year. I mean, he's that good.
Well, and he threw a no-hitter.
And he threw a no-hitter also. So Wade Miley for the Reds, lefty. He's been just acing him down. Great year this year. I had him beginning of the season. I was not high on him. I was like, he won't even make the starting rotation. He did, and he proved me wrong, which I'm happy about. But Wade Miley is somebody, if you can start him in any situation, you get him and you start him.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little hot take response. Start Wade Miley at your own risk. This is a guy who doesn't have a track record for it. I don't trust him. So we'll see.
He's a streaker. Right. Look at his past 4 or 5 starts.
I won't do it. Listen.
Fine. Okay, keep going.
He's one of those guys that I just don't trust. It just, I can't help it.
When I have Wade Miley and I'm winning my league, you can be wishing you had Wade Miley. It's fine. Go ahead.
Well, we're gonna find out because if you're winning your league, then you're probably winning my league. Although you're in other leagues too. All right, let's move to the dreaded closers / relief pitchers. Who do you got at the top, 60% and under?
So I have like two guys. Oh, my earpiece is falling out. Okay, so I have two guys. I mentioned this guy like 6 weeks in a row. I mean, Daniel Bard from Colorado. He's the closer. He's getting saves. He had a bad outing, actually. He gave us some runs a couple of outings ago, so his ERA went up a little bit. But in the past 2 weeks, he has 4 saves. So that's 2 saves a week. That's the average. That's above average.
Yeah, you know, his numbers look terrible, which actually is a time to trade for him.
Yeah, he had a horrible April. I talk about this every week. Horrible April. Great May. June is a little shaky, had 1 bad outing, but he's averaging 2 saves a week. And that being said, there's not many guys under 60% that are getting 2 saves a week. So in that category, that's somebody you should think about picking up.
Yeah, and he's been pitching better and better throughout the season. I do wonder if he's going to get dealt. But I have a question for you. Why do you like Bard more than Jordan Romano? I like Jordan Romano better.
Because Toronto plays games with their closer. The manager does not always put in Romano when they have a save opportunity. Bard's automatic save guy. Like, okay, 9th inning, we're up by a run, put Bard in. Okay, Toronto, we're up by a run. We have some options here. There's 3 or 4 other guys that they put in during save situations. Romano doesn't have that job by himself. And if you think he does, you're fooling yourself.
No, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, he's not getting a lot of saves. Maybe I'm a sucker for the pitching numbers. I'd rather get, 4 less saves and have good pitching numbers because it's going to damage the rest of your
relievers. I was always trained with relievers. It's all about getting saves because that's a category I hate to punt. It's a category that I want to get the saves. I want to outdo my opponent at saves at no cost. And usually, it's usually a category that a lot of people don't put thought or effort into it. I love putting thought and effort into that category.
Oh my God. I think about closers like 50% of my entire life.
I go to sleep thinking about closers. I can't, there's not one night I don't go to sleep without thinking about closers.
It's true. And here's a good tip. Before you go to bed, especially if you're in a league that has all players on waivers.
Yeah. Yep.
Go into Stat Tracker in Yahoo. Look at all the games or go to some box score.
There's a really good site. I'll give it a plug that I go to. I'll give it to you also just because I don't know why I give you information. You just use it against me. It's called monkeycloser.com.
Yeah, Closer Monkey. I've been there.
Closer Monkey. Thank you. And it's actually, if you need a closer and you don't know what to do, go to that website. They explain every team and who you should pick up, who you shouldn't pick up. And it's a great site just dedicated to relief pitching. It's unbelievable.
It is. I'm going to say one caveat about it, though. Closer Monkey sometimes has faulty information, and they never apologize for it. Never. They never admit it. So, listen. And so sometimes you have to think for yourself. And here's an area where I'm thinking for myself. You ready?
Yep.
Trevor Rosenthal. He's coming back soon.
August. I looked it up last week. I looked up when he's coming back. They said August.
Hey, listen, if Trevor Rosenthal comes back in August and gives me 2 months of great
He may not be your closer. This Lou Trevino guy for Oakland is unbelievable.
No, Rosenthal will take that job over because of his salary.
Okay.
That's my prediction. It's a hot take. That's my prediction.
It's so funny in Oakland. They're not going to be trading away any of their closers. They'll be gaining closers and getting bullpen because they're always in the playoffs.
That's true. Actually, it's possible that they'll actually import the closer.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Oakland every year they have no business of being in the playoffs. They make their business being in the playoffs, and every year they're always a team looking to buy and always looking to get a good bullpen for that playoff run. It's unbelievable.
But this is just my prediction. We'll see if it comes true.
Okay, we're writing that down. Greg, my producer, and Courtney, they're all writing this down. Exactly what you're saying. So you better be right.
Trevor Rosenthal. That's ROSEN.
Okay, I disagree. Trevor Rosenthal. He'll be back in August. He'll be like a middle relief guy. He's not going to win his job back. Come on, you can't be serious.
I think he's going to get at least
another guy that got a save today, and he has 3 saves in past 2 weeks. 3 saves. His ERA is not good. It's not good ERA. So I don't want to see Dr. Ross's ERA, it's low in his whip. I don't care. It's about saves. Lucas Sims of the Cincinnati Reds. He pitched today. 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. Not bad. You can't do better than that, Dr. Dan. Never seen you get 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. So
I have, but I was the hitter.
Oh, you have? Okay. So, well, the Reds swept Milwaukee today. Lucas Sims, they were giving him, they put him, everybody put him on their shoulders, and he was carried off the field as a hero. And he they didn't really do that. I just made that up. But Lucas Sims is somebody that's available in your league. If you need a save guy, I think Cincinnati decided this is the guy that's going to save games for us right now.
Yeah, I mean, I had a question a couple weeks ago on a Q&A about TJ Antone and whether he was the guy, and I said, I don't know, it looks like Lucas Sims.
Best. He's their best pitcher, the Red Sox. He can start. He can be long relief. He can be a save guy.
He's getting the Andrew Miller treatment. I
agree, and I think the Reds have to figure out where to use him. So,
I
want him to start, and I want the Reds to start him. Get rid of Castillo, and bring in Hunter Green too as another starter, and then we can start talking about playoffs.
I love that idea. It's too bad for them that they didn't trade Castillo when his value was up, because I always felt like he was not. I know, and there's this idiot that's in our league that we have, this total idiot. He keeps waving Castillo like it's a little tool, like I really want him because I'm like Cincinnati. And I don't respect Castillo at all. I think his arm is up and down. He had a good outing last time. He gets shelled all the time. It's just like Blake Snell, another guy. Blake Snell got shelled today. I mean, you just don't know where these pitchers' minds are at and where they're at right now in their career. But you got to be aware of that when you trade or when you pick up these guys up. You got to figure out like where they are at right now in their career. I'm going to say this one thing. This is another hot take. I like to put some hot takes out there because then we test it. We find out. And then we can do an I told you so segment. Or you told me so. Blake Snell left Tampa Bay. He doesn't have the pitching coaching that he had before, and he's not the same pitcher. If you can deal him, do it. Get some value for him because he's not going to do you anything this year. That's my hot take.
Great hot take. I love that. I love that hot take.
Anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, I'm good. I gave everything I got this week.
We're out.
Listen to Dan and I. Use our information. Win your league. Go, go, go.
And report back. We want to hear about your successes. So if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and we'll get back to you personally. And next week's special treat, I'm pretty sure Vlad to the Bone, Casey Scheinvold, will be here with us. But I'm not holding my breath. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. From Kill Cliff, the #1 clean energy drink in the mind of Joe Rogan, comes the Flamin' Joe. Sugar-free, B vitamins, electrolytes, all them good drink things. An epic spicy pineapple fusion from out of this world, straight into your drink hole. Own it. Kill Cliff.